Something just happened. No, I had a blip. So today's lecture, we're going to start on applications for eggs and cheese. The cheese one is going to be more of like some picture ideas. I did make a video last night for you of corn chowder using cream and then a homemade mac and cheese. So, but we'll end up having some more. I didn't have a lot of time last night to make 7 different things. So, all right, without further ado, let's go. Okay, let me share screen. Get some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, let's start out. These are videos from the actual company about frying eggs. So we're going to start with these.
How to make a fried egg. Begin by heating a non-stick sauté pan on medium heat. Add clarified butter or a fat of choice to the pan as it heats. When the fat is hot, break the egg directly into the pan. Swirl the pan in a circular motion, just slightly off the burner. There should be enough fat in the pan to prevent the egg from sticking. When the white is set and the edges have turned golden brown, swirl and flip the egg in the pan using a slight flick of the wrist. Cook to the desired style and serve hot. How to make a fried egg.
All right, simple. And I'll do another video probably this weekend. You guys can see of the different types, over easy, over hard, sunny side up.
How to make an omelet. Begin by shelling and blending the eggs. Whisk vigorously to combine the yolks and whites. The mixture should be light and foamy. Then, season the egg mixture with salt and pepper. Next, prepare a non-stick sauté pan by heating over a medium flame. Add clarified butter to the hot pan. Now, add the egg mixture to the hot pan. Swirl the pan over the flame, lightly stirring to create an even layer on the bottom of the pan. Use a spatula to scrape around the sides to prevent overcooked edges. Next, swirl the pan. You can use a spatula to help loosen the edges. Add any fillings. Use a spatula to lift the edge of the omelet and gently fold over directly onto a plate. Garnish and serve hot. And this is how to make an omelet.
All right, pretty easy. I'll show you 1, 2, where you can saute your vegetables and stuff first and put them in depending on what you want to have in there. Poaching eggs, let's watch this one.
Poaching eggs. Begin by shelling the egg into a ramekin or small bowl. Next, bring a pot of water to a simmer. Add 1 ounce of apple cider vinegar for each gallon of water. Then, stir the water rapidly, creating a funnel of simmering water in the pot. Now, take the ramekin with the shelled egg and gently ease the side into the water. Slowly allow the egg to slide into the swirling water. Allow the egg to cook untouched for about 2 minutes. When the whites are set, dip in the slotted spoon to lift the poached egg out of the pot. Blot away excess water and trim the whites to center the yolk. Plate and serve hot in a variety of dishes. And that is how to poach an egg.
All right. And then this is your scrambled eggs.
Scrambling eggs. Begin by shelling eggs into a mixing bowl. Whisk vigorously to combine the yolks and whites until the mixture is light yellow and frothy. Season the eggs with salt and pepper. Then heat a nonstick sauté pan on medium heat. Add an ounce of clarified butter to the pan. Now, add the egg mixture to the hot pan. Using a spatula, stir the eggs constantly in the pan. Make sure to run the spatula around the outer rim of the pan to prevent overcooking or browned bits around the edge. It is important to keep the eggs in constant motion during the cooking process for the perfect light and tender consistency. Finish by serving hot with the garnish of your choice. Scrambling eggs.
All right. So that's just a couple different ways, to use eggs. There's so many, it's kind of crazy. So here's the videos I did for you yesterday. We're going to start out with corn chowder. What you see here is just corn that's cut off the cob, and you've already seen the videos on how to cut the corn off the cob. So, all right. So the corn cobs are in just plain water. Bring that to a boil. Add a little salt, and then we're going to add some fried corn to it too. So, all right. So there's the beginning. Oh, here we go. Where's the... All right, it's been about 2 hours in the oven. Okay, so this is going to be a different part of a show. I'm going to skip a little bit here. This is cooking or braising beef shanks. Take right off like this, but I'll show you that with a little bit of this. This is the corn cobs. It's cooked down all the way from here down to here. Just a little bit of salt in there, and you see how yellow the water is? It just tastes like sweet corn, like solid sweet corn. So I'm going to strain this and then show you the next steps. All right, so that was cooking it was just on a boil, and then I turned it down to like a medium-ish boil for about an hour and a half. So it's taking all that flavor from the corn and making a nice rich stock. Let's go to this one. Then the next part. All right, scoot you up a little bit. So what we're gonna do now, use the same pan, spoon. I strained out the stock or the corn cob out of this, and you want to strain it through a fine mesh strainer just because you might have bits of stalk in there, and those don't taste very great. And sometimes they get kind of hard, so you want to strain that out. And then you can see the corn stalk here. See how yellow that is? Alright, so I got my butter in here. Now what I'm going to do is take the corn and fry it in butter. Where did it go? Fry it in butter. See my butter. And this is just Meyer brand butter. The last stuff we had was that, I forget what it's called. It had a deer or something on it, but it was more expensive, but it was on sale. It was the only reason I got it, but it had a lot of moisture in it, so when I got it heated up, it started popping, whereas this Meyer butter, no popping. So I'll go back to my Meyer. Kroger butter is the same thing. It doesn't have a lot of liquid or anything in it. So what you want to do, fry your corn. to get a good color on this, then we're going to add the corn stock to it. Let it cook, season it, taste it, and we'll finish it with a little cream. And then the last process of this, which is a pain in the butt, is I'm going to put all this through my VitaPrep, or especially like a high velocity blender, to chop up all the corn pieces and then put it back through that little strainer, so it's just a really creamy corn soup. It's going to be pretty good. Or I might skip that step and just put the stock in here and make it a whole corn soup. Alright, so you want to season this soup if it's not seasoned yet. Even though your stock is seasoned, you want to make sure both are seasoned. Let's just put this whole thing of butter in there. Why not? You want to make sure these solids are kind of broke down on the side, because you don't want that to scorch. Give your soup a bad flavor. So we're going to go in with the pepper. Alright, we're going to let that saute for a few minutes and we'll be back. Alright. Moving on. So you saw we got the corn in. It's sauteing in butter, salt, and pepper. Alright, so starting to get nice and done. I'm going to add the chicken or the corn stock. Same chicken, just corn stock. So corn stock back in. And we're going to bring this to a simmer. Finish breaking down the corn kernels. It's got a little bit of fond on the bottom, so it's going to be nice. And we have some bacon cooking to make as a topping for this. Alright, let's move back. Alright, so our soup is getting close. We're just going to add the final liaison. And what I'm doing is putting a splash of this heavy whipping cream in it. So this is for whipped cream, but it's a 30. So real quick, I'm adding this directly to the hot soup, which you can do. If you've never done this before, I should have showed you tempering, where you want to put this cream into a bowl and then take a little ladle of this hot soup and add that to the cream to warm it up. So you don't add the cold to the hot. I've just done this a lot before, so I kind of know how to do it. But when we do it, and I should have shown you guys this particular way, because it's a lot safer. Well, it's safer from breaking the cream, but I'll show it to you on my next video. 6 to 40% fat. And I'm going to turn this down so it's got small bubbles. I'm just going to stir it in. And it's going to dissipate into that soup and give it a nice rich texture. Okay? Turn the heat up a little bit. Maybe a splash more. Alright. That's all you need. See how, if that were to be, if you did that with just 2% milk or heavy or vitamin D, it'd probably curdle, and you'd see all these little white specks everywhere, and that's not what you want. That means you basically made cheese. So this has enough fat in it that I can bring this back up to a boil and just simmer it to just make it nice and thick, reduce it down a little bit. Then get your garnish right there, maybe a little chive on top, maybe a little dollop of sour cream. You're ready to go. So I'm going to show you, see the small bubbles coming out? That's how you know how thick this is. If this had very large open bubbles, it's very loose, like it's very liquidy still and very thin. The small bubbles represent a lot of starch in here and a lot of thickness with the fat from the cream. The corn naturally has a lot of starch in it, hence corn starch. So when you use the cobs and corn in here, it's got a natural starch that'll thicken this up. So I'm going to let that simmer for a few minutes and serve it. All right. And the bacon, that would be chopped and then put on top. Okay, let's move me. All right, so we're getting our water going for the macaroni and cheese. Got more bacon cooking. So See how it's coming up to a boil? Now you want to cook your pasta. I'm going to do some elbow mac. Elbows are great for that, and they have, it's actually the rigate style because it's got the ridges on it. Elbow macaroni is perfect for mac and cheese because you fill the little tubes with the sauce. Alright? I'm not going to do a ton. It's about a cup. I know this because I've cooked 10,000 pounds of pasta in my lifetime. Literally, I've counted it. It's been over 10,000 pounds. So we're going to stir this. This takes about 8 or 9 minutes. You want it al dente, and then we'll be back and I'll show you make the sauce. Alright, so there's the pasta. We're going to get that cooking. And then I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this mac and cheese. Okay, so here is your macaroni. It's drained out. It is done. I'm going to show you just a quick mac and cheese, okay? That was cooked in salted water. And then we're going to take my favorite, a little bit of butter. Put that in here, just to coat the pasta. And you never want to rinse this, you just want to drain it. Never rinse the pasta because you're going to just get rid of all the starch. So it's coated. We're going to turn this heat on. Warm it up, get that pan hot. Then we're just going to hit it with the heavy cream and some cheese. And you want to season your water when you're cooking pasta. Nobody wants bland pasta. So you want to put salt in there because it'll take in that pasta, or that salty taste. Alright, just hear the crackling. Now I'm simply just going to pour this cream in here. And you see that's going to cool the temperature. You want to crank this up. You don't want this swimming. You don't want too little in here, but you don't want too much. So that's just about the right amount of cream, and it's going to fill up every single little tube of macaroni. So we're going to turn this up, and then you want to wait to season this because the pasta's already got salt in it. Alright, it's coming up. You'll start to see these little bubbles popping, and there's a lot of starch on here too, so that's going to naturally thicken the sauce, and then the moisture, the water from the cream is going to evaporate and just leave the fat. So you'll see it now. And this is cooked al dente, which means to the bite, or to the tooth. So it's going to be, it's not mushy. You don't want mushy pasta. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. See the bubbles coming up on the side? They got kind of a large bubble. It means it's still not thickening yet. So you want to keep moving it. But the good thing is it's not going to scorch because this is just a lot of fat. It doesn't have a lot of the protein that sinks to the bottom and burns. Alright, see how it's coming up? We're thickening, we're thickening. Some good looking bubbles coming up. And this, remember I said the smaller the bubble, the thicker this is getting. So those are very large bubbles right now. It's a lot of air coming through, but it's evaporating with the water. So I'm going to keep moving this. Some people might make it so they make the pasta, just fold everything together cold, and then bake it, which is fine too. I like going like this, or this way, because it cooks it a lot faster. Okay. The second the bubbles get small, we're going to add the cheese. Won't take long. If my kids weren't eating this, I'd finish it with another liaison of an egg, but my children won't touch that. Alright, see the bubbles? It doesn't seem like it, but the bubbles are getting smaller and smaller. They're getting a little more rapid. Let me pull this off and you can see how thick that is. So we're going to turn it down to a simmer. Let this cook down a little bit. And then, see how it's just air escaping now? It's not trying to form as big as a bubble. It might not look like it, but it is. Okay, so I'm going to grab my cheese. Turn the heat down, because you don't want the cheese to burn. So I'm going to turn the heat down, almost to off. See this slow down? This is a aged cheddar. This is a sharp cheddar. And the reason you want to use, you always want to buy blocks of cheese and shred it yourself, because the shredded blocks they put a non-caking agent in there, which means you don't know what it is. It could be flour, it could be anything. They do that so it stays shreddable. It stays shredded in the bag. Otherwise, cheese, if it gets warm, it's just going to re-solidify and stick to each other. See that nice color in there? Look at that. Once you get to this point, the heat's on just barely. I want to met some of the pieces were big because I grated it myself. So I want to just slowly melt this down. That's a nice looking, I mean, you can't beat that. And each little tube is going to fill with that cheese sauce. All right, check that out. Nice. Okay, so what you have, I had to bring this picture up because it was really nice. So what we ended up with was a nice cheese sauce inside there. You can use any type of cheese too. You can use Gouda, any cheese you like. You can do a, Roquefort. You can do a blue cheese mac and cheese, which is actually really good. Anything you want. So that's the beauty of making your own mac and cheese is you can, put whatever you want in there. So here's just a few other pictures I thought of you guys could think of, or you guys could kind of imagine what you want to do with is just some different types of manicotti. Basically, it's a sheet of pasta with flavored cheese rolled up and then some sauce baked on top if you really like cheese. And you can do the same thing with this. You could put anything you want in here. Quesadillas, there's so many things people use the cheeses for. But that mac and cheese, it is really good. And it's very simple. And the boxes are great. They're quick. But you really don't know what's in it. To be honest with you, you don't know what kind of cheese that is. But if there's a particular cheese you like, just make your own mac and cheese. It's really simple. It's quick. If you did the same one I showed you just a minute ago, and just mixed everything together and baked it, it turns out real nice. Put cheese on top so it gets a nice crusty layer on it. So that's what I want to show you guys today. I thought I was going to have time to get some more to go to the store yesterday, but I did not. So I was going to get a couple different cheeses. Maybe I'll do that for Monday if I make it to the store this weekend and show you the melting points of different cheeses. So, but like you saw, you had the corn chowder that was finished with, sorry, let me stop this. Corn chowder that was finished with the final liaison of heavy cream. And that you can top with sour cream. You could put cheese on top of that. You could put bacon on top of it. You can put tortilla chips on top. You can do whatever you want. So that's just the way you thicken that one. You could also do like a 50-50 blend. Like if you wanted it even more creamy, you could have done half cornstarch, half heavy cream. You could have done half cornstarch, 1/4 heavy cream, 1/4 sour cream. But you definitely have to temper that. So I think this weekend I'll show you a tempering video so you can see what I'm talking about. And then the macaroni and cheese, you could finish that with an egg yolk, and that makes it super creamy. The only thing bad with that is you have to eat it then. Like you really can't reheat those ones. It just gets too thick. So that's what I have for you. Those are the applications for the dairy and the cheese and the eggs. The eggs one, there's so many, there's thousands of eggs. There's 1,000 egg versions. So we might have a whole thing just on eggs one day. So that is it. Have a lovely day. Have a great weekend.